Look at him. He's just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy
Hey everybody,
the
welcome back to
time.
Take It Wide. This is
Head burst
episode
when you're in harvest,
284.
don't
Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm going to have a good conversation with some good friends of mine, new and old. It's fun to do. Been doing it for a while, but if you've been coming back, I appreciate that too. I think it's hard to keep people's attention, and there's a million podcasts out there, so as always, appreciate the support. And speaking of support, I have some really cool sponsors who help me get the show out to you guys. I believe in what they're selling and what they're providing, and I'm happy to line up with them, and I'm very stoked that they're lining up with me. So just give me a couple minutes and I'll bang these out. So first off, we have Brewed Biscuits. Brewed Biscuits are an all-natural spent grain pet treat. Now, a spent grain basically means that what this company did is they upcycled the oats and barley that were used to make wort. And instead of tossing the grains, they're able to use them for pet treats. They're baked in a commercial kitchen. It's all natural. There's no preservatives, no salt, no hops, no alcohol, no additives, anything. Super, super natural. They have the pumpkin spice, apple, cinnamon, and I always forget this. And okay, I have the sheet in front of me. They have the peanut butter, they have the pumpkin sweet potato, and they have the apple cinnamon. So it's 100% all natural, and my dog loves them. Great source of protein and fiber, and they believe in the show. So go buy some pet treats from them. Go to twospentgrains.ca. That's TWO. And you can order through them. It's not expensive, it's affordable, and it's a really good pet treat, so buy those. Next, we have Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Heartbeat Hot Sauce have been making waves and have really been doing big things over the last couple of years. They were on season 6 of Hot Ones, if you ever watched that show on YouTube. They're based out of Thunder Bay, and my buddy Al and his partner Nancy run this company. And it just keeps growing and growing. They're available in stores across Canada and into the States. Recently, I just had that giveaway, so shout-outs to the winner, Ryan, out in PEI. He got the jalapeno. I was introduced to them through the red habanero, which I still think is my favorite. But they have the pineapple one. They have the blueberry habanero. It's the best hot sauce I've ever had. It's not vinegary. There's no thickening agents added to it. It's really the best I've ever had. And you can order some or pick some up. Just go to heartbeathotsauce.com to find out more information. Next, we have Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. Rigo's an old friend of mine, really old friend. I've known him for over 10 years for sure. One of the first buddies I made when I moved to Cambridge. And he's a car salesman. He's a car salesman out at 3121 King Street East in Kitchener at Hefner Toyota. So if you want to find a rad dude to help make that whole process easy and smooth and fun, go see Rigo. Go see him there, mention the show, and you'll get special pricing on new vehicles. He's the man. Rigo's the best. Honest man, family man. I love that guy. Shout outs to Rigo. Next, we have Ironclad Graphics. Ironclad Graphics are a silk screening company out in Kingston, and they make my shirts. They did my pins, patches. They do all types of merch. They ship coast to coast. They're competitive with their pricing, and they do good work. So if you're looking for someone to make your shirts or anything in that sort of category, go find them, ironcladgraphics.com. And lastly, wellingtonbrewery.ca. They provide the beers. I had been sipping on, I think I'm going to try a Raked Over for this one. It's an IPA, mango, pineapple, habanero. It's really good. It's spicy, but not crazy. It's a little off-putting at first just because I guess you should expect the spice because it says habanero. But it's really good. It's really tasty. A good end of summer type of beer. So, yeah, those are all the sponsors. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook. Follow them. I see some of you guys are following them, so appreciate that. Quick little simple search and follow. All the information is in the description for this episode. So that's it. Those are all the sponsors, guys. So for this episode, I'm speaking to Nick. Nick is a drummer based out in Portland. He used to play in El Cerdo. That's how I met him years ago when I was touring down there. Currently plays with Gaytheist. And recently saw him playing drums for High on Fire. So we're going to talk about that and catch up. It's been a long time, man. This guy's a fucking monster drummer. Makes it look easy, but the shit he pulls off is crazy. A real creative dude and a real sweetheart. So this is 284 with Nick. Buddy,
How you doing, man?
good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. This works
How you
out
been?
great. Man, I've been good, man. How have you been?
Wonderful. Everything's been awesome.
It's been so long.
I know. I was just thinking about that when you hit me up the other day. I was like, "Fuck, how many years has it been since I've even seen you guys?"
Like, I think
Yeah, is it Tugnut?
yeah, I think it was like 10
Is that-
years ago, man.
Man, long time.
It was. It feels like a whole other lifetime ago, man. Shit. But
Yeah.
like, Facebook's great because I can kind of peer into like our friends' lives and see what you've been up to, and like, I don't know. It's what makes it kind of cool. Where it's not such a weird cold call because it's like we're buddies, but it's not like we fucking spent crazy time together. But it's not weird.
Yeah, but
Let's chat.
yeah, totally. I same here. I've been keeping up with like Great Sabatini and everything, and yeah, so
it's kind of fun.
how's
man.
the kid?
He's good, man. You're probably gonna see him in 2 seconds. I just heard the door open up, and they were out getting groceries. And yeah, he knows when Dad has a podcast to do. He'll still pop in though.
Yeah.
How about yours,
what's
man?
up?
What do you got? 2?
She's great. No, just the one.
Okay.
She's about to. She's gonna be 4 on Sunday. Actually, we're like getting ready for the birthday party and everything around here.
Awesome.
And, yeah, Holly's mom's in town from Florida, so
Okay. Cool,
yeah.
man.
But they just left for shopping. I actually forgot. I was getting ready to go run errands for the bar that I work at, and was
Okay.
like, "Oh shit, I forgot I got to do this podcast." I was like, "I got to do this shit. I'll do that stuff later."
Okay, cool,
So,
man. Yeah, fuck,
yeah.
Dads with
Yeah,
gigging dads.
yeah.
Your dad
It's
used to
cool.
play, right?
Yeah. He was a drummer for a really long time. He still is. Him and my brother are off and on in bands together. And
Weren't you?
Yeah.
Like, one of the last things I remember, I might have been hanging at your place. I don't remember whose place it was, but you were talking about, and this is like kind of redundant, but did you play in a band with your dad too? Weren't you guys in the same band for a second?
no, my dad and my brother have been. But I at one point like started doing other stuff, and Jason and Ben from El Cerdo wanted to jam, and I was like, I can't. But my dad didn't have anything going on, and they
That's what it
jammed with
was.
my dad for a little while.
Can
But way different styles. They eventually were like, he's a different kind of rock and roll than what they're trying to do. So
I'm trying to think, like, could he even pull off what you were doing in El Cerdo?
I mean, well, they were doing something different.
It was-
They weren't going
okay.
to do El Cerdo, but I mean, he's a great drummer. He's really good. But we do have different styles. I played a lot of jazz in like high school and stuff like that. So he's self-taught, and so I just grew up playing his drums, and then when eventually in school started doing, band and jazz and all that stuff. And
Do you think about like, did your dad push you to play drums, or you just stuck onto it? Because I want Mateo to do it, but I don't know how hard to push him.
he didn't really, he let us express interest. Like music was always there. I mean, he always put me to sleep to records and stuff. Like that was a big thing that he did for my brother and I both, is he was big on music, but he didn't really care what instrument. He just wanted us to partake. And I just took to the drums naturally. My brother kind of played for a while and then didn't like it because he was just like, why am I not good at it already? I don't like this. And so then he went to bass, and then he was like, I don't even like playing bass. And so he's a singer now, and that's really his niche, is he likes to be the front man. And because he's a big, huge, scary looking dude. He
Is it
likes to
just
stomp around.
Just the two of you guys? Like you have one sibling?
Yeah, well, I have some step siblings, but none of them play music or anything. Just my brother and I.
Are you going to put your little one into music then, do you think?
I also was like, I'm not going to pressure into an instrument or anything like that. Just that, we want her to play music of some sort, but we'll let her pick. And just recently, she's been really like getting into like listening to music and realizing that I play in bands. And so she told me she wants a guitar and a drum set. And I was like, done. I've just been waiting for you to ask. I'm not going to pressure her into anything, because everybody's like, is she going to be a drummer? And I was like, fuck, not if I can help it. That's like the most expensive thing you can be in a band, is a drummer, because everything breaks. And I'd rather her play bass, where, once you get a nice rig, you can pretty much just roll that for a while.
Totally, man. My parents actually got Mateo a little drum kit. Like it works. Like you can tune it. It's a pretty legit little kit, and he's off and on with it. Sometimes he digs it, sometimes he doesn't. And
Yeah.
like I secretly absolutely want him to do it. Or you know what, even something that he can connect with other people with. Like, you know, we met a couple times, but like I feel like I could call you like, "Hey, how are you doing?" and make those kind of like connections with other people. Like that offered, you know, music did that for me. So I absolutely want him to do it, but also don't want to push him away and like ruin it.
Yeah, you got to kind of let it be a, you know, what it's almost their idea instead of yours, or you know that they're influenced by you doing it, but they're like, oh well, I don't want to play that instrument, but I want to play music. You know, if she gravitates towards guitar, I'm like, here's a guitar. You know, I'll buy her all the instruments until she picks one. You know, I don't. That's fine with me. But
where are you working? Like what?
My brother-in-law owns a bar called the High Water Mark. It's a cool little dive bar that does shows and stuff. I think they got like 150 or 200 person capacity. I can't remember, but
cool.
So it's a cool bar with like a patio, really good food. And then it's near the end of days, but it's a bar called the Tonic Lounge that has been around for a long time. It's undergone a couple different name changes and turned into shitty clubs, and then he got it back with a friend of ours, Chris Trumpower. They kind of went in together and revived it to the old Tonic Lounge, and just have been doing it. But it's closing down at the end of this month. Actually, on the 31st is the last show.
Who's playing?
They're I can't remember all the bands that are playing on the 31st, but I know it's gonna be a banger. I wanted to go, but Gaytheist is actually playing a show at High Water Mark that night.
Oh, sweet.
Shit, but yeah, plug.
Yeah, plug. How is it there in Portland, man? Like the No is gone, right? I think that's the only thing I can think of.
Oh man, yeah, that's a whole story in itself, which is a big bummer. Eventually, they had to move off of Alberta Street, and they got this spot out in Southeast that was really cool. It was a cool bar. We actually, Gaytheist played there for our record release for Let's Jam Again Soon, and it was an amazing show. I think we played with Drunk Dad, and it was super rad. But
cool.
And then some stuff went down with the owner, and I don't know all the specifics, but it just got kind of pretty ugly. And then that bar just shut down. Like everybody pretty much just quit, and the No is now no more, which is a bummer because that was a staple when it was on Alberta, the original No. I mean, that was a huge part for the local scene for sure.
Man, like, did you grow up in Portland? Is that where you're from originally?
So basically, I grew up in a town called Washougal, which is about a half hour east, but over the Columbia River in Washington. So I'm like when Tugnut came down and you played at that house, that was in Vancouver, Washington. But I mean, it's literally like from where I live, it's like 15 minutes. Okay. And I'm in downtown Portland. So,
okay.
I mean, yeah, it's just literally just right over a little bridge and you're in Oregon.
You know, so I think, how old are you, dude?
36.
Yeah. Okay. Same 36. And like, I love talking about, I actually talked to a lot of my buddies who are my same age and we're still kind of doing it. And it's kind of a question of like, I don't know. Do you want to be touring more? Are you glad that you're not? Like, you have a kid, so it's hard to do it, but...
I mean, that's always tough because, yeah, it's like, you know, I love my family and I love my kid and I want to be here as much as I can, but also, you know, I've basically been dedicating myself to music and bands for as long as I've been able, you know, a teenager and able to, like, pack up my car with my drums and go play shows and, you know, I mean, when I first met Jason Smith from El Cerdo, he used to drive out from Vancouver, you know, a half hour to where I lived and pick me up with my drum set and haul it out to Vancouver, and we'd practice for 2 days and then drive me back. And we did that every single weekend until I eventually got my driver's license and was able to, you know, but yeah, I mean, I've dedicated, you know, my whole life to playing music, and, you know, touring is how you make a living off of it. And so that's just what you have to do. And I am more than prepared to do so. You know,
Yeah.
this is what I want to do with my life. So,
Yeah. Is it? I guess like we have a kid. Our kids are the same age. My kid's 4 as well.
yeah.
Has it been hard, like the transition to not being full-time music guy? It was kind of hard for me at first, and still is sometimes.
Well, when Holly was pregnant, I filled in on drums for that Lord Dying tour with Anvil. And, shit, that was 7 weeks, dude. That was a long, brutal tour, and it kind of sucked. But, but I'm in it to win it. You know what I mean? I really I like touring. I like traveling, and I like playing live, and that's the only way you can really make a living at it now. I'm with the new High on Fire stuff, I'm hoping to not have to bartend anymore, and I can just play music, and then when I'm home, and I don't have to go to work every day. I can just be at home, because you go on tour for a month and then you're home for a month, or you're home for 3 weeks. And that's 3 weeks that I don't have to go to a job. I can just, be with my family and be a stay-at-home dad when I'm not working.
I think part of my like anxieties about it was I'm kind of the same, where I didn't prepare for a time when I wouldn't do it. Like I'm kind of job searching right now, and like, yeah, my resume is shitty. It's not great because I've just fucked off so long playing music. So, man, I don't know. I would love to be, I don't know. Yeah, you're in a good position to potentially pay your bills through the drums, which is like fucking lotto, I think.
No, that's how I'm like. It's still weird to me that this is in my grasp, and that I might be able to make this happen, to where I'm like, it's all I've ever wanted, and and that's awesome. But it will be a lot of hard work, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of trying times.
Man, like, yeah, I feel like that's like a big. I just obviously wanted to ask you about all that. Like, how did that happen? Did they get a hold of you? Do you know those guys for a long time, or what?
Like, it was all kind of crazy because Holly and I had moved down to Florida right after we had Remy, because we wanted to be kind of down by her family, and I was like, would really like a change of scenery. I want to get out of Portland for a while, because this place has changed a lot from what it was when growing up, and it's just a different city now. And so, yeah, I was like, let's get the fuck out of here and go do something different. And then, Florida was cool, but we were struggling down there, and we missed our jobs and our friends. I didn't even take a drum set with me. I had no music down there at all. And, it kind of spun us out, where we were pretty much like, we want to go back to Portland. Holly's like, you need to have your band practice. Like, you need to have your thing that you go do, where because all that energy, I basically directed it at her, and she's just like, God, you're fucking annoying. Go play drums and burn your energy out so you can just chill. But, so yeah, we made the move back to Portland, and, shortly after, I got introduced to Matt Pike at a bar. I didn't even know he lived in Portland at this point. Him and Jeff both live in Portland. Jeff's actually my neighbor. He lives literally a minute drive from my house. We live on the same road. It's kind of funny. But so I meet Matt, and then one of my best friends, Taylor from Bastard Feast and Elitist, he was the guitar player for that band. He's got a new band going called Glory in the Shadows. Okay. And so basically some stuff happened with their drummer, and he was out, and they had a guy who was replacing him, but he wasn't available to like learn the songs in time for this show that they had coming up. So I jumped in and just played a show with them.
Sure.
And basically in the meantime of all that, I think the Grammy nomination for High on Fire was going in, and Dez was already, talking to them that he probably wasn't going to be touring anymore, and was, maybe stepping out. And so all that was kind of up in the air, and just, they were like, we think we got to find a new drummer, and kind of started asking friends and, people around town. And, I guess I just came really highly recommended from a lot of people, is how Jeff Matz put it. And I was very like taken taken aback by it. Just like, holy shit, that's so cool that, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, you should ask that guy. Plus, you know, he's local. You can practice with him every day, you know. And so obviously I was very eager to, you know, say, yes, I fucking love that band. I've been listening to that band for years. They fucking rule. And, you know, so that's just kind of how it came up. And I talked to Matt about it a couple times, and then Jeff got my number, and him and I met up and went to a coffee shop one day and just sat down and talked for like an hour and a half. And basically it was like, cool. Yeah. And he pretty much was like, I think this is going to work out. And he went home and he was jamming some Gaytheist stuff, and he was like, oh, you definitely have, you know, chops and everything. So, you know, I think this will be cool. And then they gave me a list of songs. I studied them hard and then went and jammed with them, and then pretty much have just been jamming with them since.
Crazy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. I was just like, we picked a really good time to move back to Portland. Could not have been more perfect.
Yeah, it's weird how shit like that happens sometimes, right? Like, just like fate, if that's a thing, or you know, just opportunities too. Being at the right spot at the right time. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I was a friend of mine gave me a really, really nice compliment, actually, that I was like, that's awesome of you. But I was like, I feel like I just got so lucky. And he goes, well, luck is just opportunity met with preparedness. And I think that's what you had. And I was like,
that's it.
Fuck, man. Thank you. That feels really nice. And I've never had a compliment like that. It was cool.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. You, it's weird. You put so much time into this. It's not a weird thing. Like, it's a passion thing, and you never really count on it to fulfill certain, I don't want to use the word dreams, but you put all the time in, and a lot of people, it's for not for nothing, but yeah, it's totally that. Had you not have put your time in, you wouldn't maybe have been ready to do this, right? Like, imagine that.
Yeah.
The opposite hand, where it's like, fuck, I can't pull this off, and then you miss out on this opportunity.
Yeah.
Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
You remember that band, Fuck the Facts? You know those guys?
Yeah, totally.
So there was a point in time where, well, Mark was playing with them for a bit, right?
Yeah, because I actually ran into Mark while he was playing with Fuck the Facts.
Oh, okay.
I've seen him one time since Tugnuts. So I've seen one out of three of y'all.
Yeah. So he was playing bass with them, and it was an the drummer Vil, he was the guitar player. So there's kind of this weird time where I could have maybe joined if I was better. You know what I mean? Like, if I really had chops, maybe I could have thrown my hat in, but I didn't even have the chops.
You're a great drummer.
Well, I couldn't. I was practicing in the hall, like, trying to pull off these crazy blast beat shit. It's like, I just can't do it. I didn't even email them.
I can agree with you there. I kind of hate blast beats because I'm just not that good at them. I mean, I can pull it off, but it kind of depends on what kind of band and how long the blast beat is.
Yeah,
you know, I can't do that shit for 2 minutes. It just destroys me. And I still can't figure out how to do gravity beats. I'm just like, how the fuck do you make your hand do that? I cannot do it.
Well, this, like, yeah, the transition from playing the Gaytheist stuff to High on Fire isn't a fucking stretch for you at all. Like,
I mean, because, I mean, Gaytheist is, you know, it's its own rock band, but I really feel like because I'm allowed to pretty much play however I kind of want in that band, I still feel like I'm constantly playing, you know, heavy music. I mean, I don't think we're a light band by any means, but you know what I mean? I'm not playing in like a brutal fucking band like Bastard Feast was. But I'm aggressively and so it kind of, I feel like the changeover was, you know, I was still playing heavy, so I was like, I'm prepared for this, and it's just a different kind of metal. And a lot of the songs, I was like, oh man, I've listened to this shit so many times. I like feel like I already know this song.
I'm sure, what I mean? Totally, man. What was what was that first gig like? What was going on in your mind? How did it feel to be like, holy fuck, here I am?
I mean, I was already feeling that a bunch every time we were having practice. I was just like, when we're just hanging out, like our first practice day, I picked up Jeff, and then we drove over to Matt's house because we were jamming in his garage at the time. And he comes out and he's like, hey, you don't mind if we go get some coffee? I need to get some coffee. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then, like, we take off to go to the coffee store, and just in my mind, I was like, fucking driving high on fire to go get coffee. And that's just weird to me because,
Yeah.
you know, when you never expect something like that, it's like, holy shit, this is crazy. But, you know, the more I hang out with them, the more I'm like, yeah, there's two fucking dudes. I mean, you know, they're just like every other dude. They're just who they are.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
Jeff is, him and I have become great friends. He's the sweetest dude. His wife, Dominique, is amazing. You know, so it's all really kind of gelled pretty naturally, I think. And it's been great.
That's awesome, man. Well, yeah, you never know, right? Like, there's that saying of, like, you don't want to meet your idols, and not that these guys were your idols, but, like, you never know, man. Fuck, like, they could be all just business and just not easy dudes to work with, and make that first, you know, gig super stressful, more stressful than it already would be. But it's not surprising, man. That's the thing I find, like, certain times I'll talk to certain people on the podcast, and I might be, like, nervous. Like, I had Mike from Burnt by the Sun on a little while ago, and crazy nervous to have him on, right? But then you just realize, like, oh, he's just a guy, you know?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people I do that to, or I'm like, oh, wow. Like, even, like, if Matt, you know, like, oh, what? Like, you want me to play drums in your band? And I'd be fucking nervous as fuck, man.
No, I mean, I was, but I was also like, you know, just do the thing that you always do. And
that's it.
Don't think about it too much. I mean, that was just, for me, that was that Psycho Las Vegas we just did. We had some issues on stage, and there was stuff going on that was lame, but I mean, I still had a great time. And I just remember, like, holy fuck, man, there's so many people in here. But then it's like, don't think about that. Just do what you do and then be done with it. And then, you know, do the thing that you know, and it was rad. But I was also like, you know, that's where I got nervous. I was like, holy shit, you know, this is the most people I've ever played for. So, you know, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. There's I feel like it's like graduating. There's certain bands who maybe just start to pick up and take off. And there's some friends of mine who were, I don't know, they were opening for this bigger band. And it was like, maybe like stadiums or something like that. And I asked, like, how were the first couple of gigs? And he's like, terrible. You know, like, you're so nervous, and it's a real level up. Even to have people who give a shit that are watching you, man. I'm so accustomed to like 20 people.
Yeah. Which I'm grateful for that too. Gaytheist, our shows fluctuate from 20 to 200. I mean, it just kind of depends on the show and who's playing. And, you know, where I'm, you know, it's still, to me, I'm like, sweet, man. 20 people were in that little room. That made it like there was 50 people, and it was an awesome show.
Did you ever have a time, like, let's say after El Cerdo or something, where you, like, kind of questioned this whole thing, like music?
I mean, I've had my bouts where, you know, I've been like, nope, I have a full-time job and I do this and I only go on tour when I'm on vacation. A lot of that happened with El Cerdo. I actually was sort of the demise of El Cerdo because of I had a job and bought a house, and I, you know, it was just like, I can't just go on tour, and they wanted to tour a bunch, and things just kind of disbanded from there, unfortunately. And we had done other things together since, but nothing ever really stuck. And you know, I mean, I still love those dudes, Jason and Ben and Josh. They're all great friends. But yeah, I have gone through those, like, fuck, man, is it worth it, you know, to tour like this and then not come home in debt? You paid to go on tour. You know, that stuff, it gets really tiring after a while. It's exhausting on your body, and just you're just like, fuck, man, I'm come home to like a 5-week tour, and then I'm literally basically living in the van that I went on tour on, because I have like, I live out in the middle of nowhere, and I have no car and no job and no nothing. I'm like, well, if I go up there, then I'm fucking stuck. I have to stay in the city to where at least I can try and do stuff here. And yeah, just dirt bagging for a while. And it got old. I mean, I loved it, but it was like, it's rough. You know, I get tired of being that broke. And Gaytheist is the first time that a band is actually kind of like taken off on its own. Like, it has its own, you know, small, meager account, but we have money in it that, you know, we are able to pay each other for shows, and then, you know, put some away and buy merch with it. We just paid for a recording with band money. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's like the most success I've ever had in a band. And so, you know, I'm like, we've done it. In my opinion, I'm like, we've done it. We don't have to be rich and famous, but at least our band takes care of itself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's cool.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, that's I dream of that. I dreamt of that when I was a kid, and like me and Mark's new band, that's kind of where we're at. We have a bank account, and we're trying to make smart decisions and not losing money on it. And it's the only way for me to do it now. I can't lose money anymore. I can't. Fuck.
No, totally. And a band is also, kind of like you got to be your own Kickstarter where you're like, I don't get paid for the first 4 years, just like opening any business or restaurant, you're going to be like, I didn't get paid for the first 4 years. Yeah. I paid into it, but then eventually it will pay for itself. You just have to be willing to sacrifice for a while.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes a long while.
Yeah, Jesus. What do you what does this kind of mean for like the Gaytheist dudes then? Like, is it kind of weird, or is it like they're totally?
No, they're super stoked, so supportive. They're 100% on board. Because Matt still does Sleep. So whenever Sleep's doing stuff, Gaytheist would be available to do stuff. Jeff has some other irons in the fire that he's working on. He has his cab company, and they're building heads and stuff like that.
Oh,
too.
What's his company?
It's just Matt's, MATZ.
Oh, okay, cool.
They do like custom bass cabs and guitar cabs and stuff. I think he's. He has some cabs out, but they're getting ready to do like a mass build and
cool.
kind of deal. It sounds like. I don't know all of the ins and outs. I hope I'm not ruining it for him.
Wow,
I'm pretty sure it's cool.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's cool. But so they're pretty busy with stuff. When High on Fire's not doing stuff, so pretty much. And Gaytheist also doesn't. We don't tour for like weeks at a time either.
Yeah.
The most we go out for is like 9 days. That's about it.
It's funny, 9 days. That's still even in my head. I'm like, it's still a pretty long tour.
It is. But if you think about it, you're like, that's 2 weekends and Monday through Friday.
Totally.
Or no, that's 11 days. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man, it's like I do love touring. It's hard. I'm really stuck between like a rock and a hard place because I want to support the fam and. I don't know. Like, basically, I know I have a job interview, but I have to bring up, like, I have a tour coming up. Like, Sabs have a tour coming up out west. And usually I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll just do the tour. But this is the first time where I've really had to think, like, what am I going to choose?
You just go, I have an obligation that I really want this job, but I'm obligated to do this other thing, too. You don't have to tell them you're going on tour. You just tell them I'm going to be unavailable this time.
I was asking my buddies about that. Like, what should I fucking say? Like, I have a prior commitment, or like, I have an engagement. Because if I say I have shows or I have gigs, they're not going to understand that. Like,
yeah, or they might be like, what?
Yeah, a gig?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Do you want this job?
Yeah. I'll figure it out. But
I would say I have a prior engagement that I cannot miss.
I'll have to update you on how that goes.
How long is that tour for?
It's short. It's like 9 days.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not
that's
crazy amount. Like, I could still feasibly pull it off, but
that's just long enough to go somewhere and do stuff, and then by the time you get back, your wife won't totally throttle you and tell you you're never allowed to do it again. So,
man, my wife's the sickest, man. She's totally every tour, no issue. Like, I worked with her for like 5 years at the hotel I worked at, so for as long as she knew me, I was like fucking off to tour, so it wasn't a surprise to be like, hey, I tour.
Yeah, totally.
It sounds
great.
Yeah, it sounds cocky, but like she knew what she was getting into when she started it.
Yeah, totally. That's how my partner is. She pretty much knew what she was getting into from the start. We never planned on having a baby, but surprise.
That's how it goes, man.
So, oh, dude, yeah, she on birth control and only has one ovary, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we're having a baby, aren't we?
I feel like that's like supposed to happen type shit. Like, you couldn't stop that.
Yeah, totally.
Matt, can I just ask you like about because I've always thought your drumming's crazy, man. Like, when I think about it, I think like, how did he fucking write that? Like, do you just loop things over and over and like fuck with fills? Because it's like really busy, but it's not like you're fucking improvising it. When you're writing, how do you do it?
Like, honestly, I navigate by feel completely. There are like certain things that like I hear it in my mind, and then once I play it, I'm like, I will always play that part that way. I will always do this fill like this because of how it sounds. But I mean, generally writing and everything, I totally am just like, I just go by feel.
Fuck, man.
What seems fun, and I try not to think about it too much. I just try to, with Gaytheist, it's easy for me to just kind of do whatever and have fun. And, so yeah, with that band, I mean, it's just certain stuff, or, like, how when you go and record and you play on a drum set that's not yours and it's all new and nice, and then for some reason you find yourself doing things differently than you've been doing it for the last 5 months you've been playing the song, but then you're like, for some reason I think this is cooler. And sometimes that happens where after we record, I'm like, I don't know why I did that there. I totally but I fucking love it, and now I have to figure out how to do that every time. Where like, I call them like lucky fills, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know why I did that. It just came out of nowhere, and now I have to figure out how to do it again.
Okay, so you'll like demo stuff and then kind of learn the demo itself. Like I'll like meticulously like loop sections and like learn the sections. Like it's tedious and it's not as free flowing. But actually, that's an interesting take. Maybe I will try some of that, just like free-flowing.
No, that is interesting. I've never thought about doing that before. That seems pretty cool. I mean, I have, like in Bastard Feast and Elitist, those bands, I would like, they would play riffs where I'm like, I can't figure out like where your hook is, or like where the turnaround happens. I'm really, so then I'll be like, take all the distortion off and play it clean and quietly, like turn it down, and I'll make them do that to where I'm like, oh, okay. And then I would have to be like, oh, then I can, okay, so I have to play this weird, timing on this one part, and I would do that sometimes. But like, again, with Gaytheist, like the riffs just aren't like that. Jason pretty much writes pretty simple jammers, and that's, his style. And so that band's not as complicated where I don't really have to think about it. But
it's still, yeah, I've always loved your drumming, man. Do you worry about parts being, like, my big thing is I'll worry like, fuck, this is too boring. But then I worry that like, oh, now it's too busy.
Isn't that the ultimate worry all the time? Because, like, I, feel like I play a lot of the same drum beat in this band because, a lot of the riffs are really just that 1, 2, 3, 4, rock and roll kind of beat or punk rock kind of beat or whatever. And so I feel like I constantly play the same drum beat a lot, which... But I'm also like, well, that's kind of the style of this band, and I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I do try to be like, no, we just wrote 3 songs, and I went, cut. I'm like, now I'm not going to do that in this one. I have to do something different.
I wonder if that's like both symptoms of like being in Tugnut and being in El Cerdo, because like, I think both of those bands were like busy. Well, like Tugnut for sure was like nothing. It was a fault to where it's like, everything has to be crazy. So it still bleeds over to my writing now, where I'm like, this is too boring, but like sometimes it has to be boring, but it's hard to know when.
Yeah, because you kind of, there is that, pull the reins so that way the next part is more intense or louder and heavier or whatever, less is more. I try to think about that stuff too. I hate to say this because I heard it from somebody and it became like a backhanded thing, it's like, does it service the song? And it became a joke, amongst practice, because that was the way we'd be like, I don't know, that riff just doesn't service the song. And that was the nice way of saying, fuck that riff.
Yeah, the riff sucks.
Yeah, that drum beat does not service the song. But yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. It is, you kind of have to, depending on what your music is like, what kind of band you're playing in is what really, I think, navigates playing something is this boring, or is it just what it should be for the song, Yeah.
Well, I think of a band go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, look at AC/DC.
Oh, word. And I was going to say, like, look at a
That
band.
dude's the most solid drummer in the world, and he don't do fucking thing. He hits 2 and 4, and that's pretty much, but...
Yeah, no. I think of Torch, like, not that they're boring, but like a lot of their stuff's just pretty like This is what
Yeah.
this is kind of like, that's what I would have played. Something super simple.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
Tim.
I do love that band.
All right, this is Mateo.
What's up, dude?
Say hi to Nick here. Say hi.
Hi, Nick.
How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you.
You're gonna
4
go
years
practice
old,
drums?
huh?
We were talking about you. No?
You gonna go play some drums?
You gonna play drums?
I want to play.
We're gonna play Nintendo soon. Okay. Saturdays are our video games day, so we were playing Donkey Kong.
Oh,
Play
nice.
Donkey Kong. Can I
Yep.
stay here for a little bit?
I gotta finish this and then we'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go give Mom that pen. And can you close the door? Close the door, please. Thanks.
As you said, he made his appearance.
Yeah, he does. I'll do ads sometimes at the beginning, and I'll get him to do the ads. Like,
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's pretty cool, man. Like, we're just gonna have one, and I guess you said like you didn't really plan on one, but do you think you'll have another? Or?
No.
No.
I want to go get a vasectomy. I'm totally cool with not having any more kids.
I got a buddy who's got like
I would
5.
rather adopt, I think, than if we ever wanted to have another child. I would choose adoption over having another baby.
Well, and even right now, like if let's say like shit takes off and you become, this is your gig, yeah, that'd be super hard with 2 kids. Do the other guys have kids? Do like Matt and Jeff have kids?
Nope. Matt does have a daughter, but she's like an adult.
Older,
I think
yeah.
older. So, and then Jeff and Dominique don't have any kids either.
Yeah.
So just me.
Yeah. It's like yeah, I don't know, man. Like when you're a kid, you plan, you want to, like me, I just always say, I assume everybody thinks this way, but yeah, I was going to do a band and it's going to like blow up and then that's going to be my thing, and like didn't really plan on getting married or having a kid, and it's just figuring out how to do it. But I'm like, I feel I like talking about music with my buddies who are my age, because like we've kind of forged ourselves in the fires of it, and we can do it. Like I know how to write an album, and that's the best part about it. I can still do it.
Yeah. And well, I'll never stop doing it. Even if I do work a full-time job the rest of my life and everything, I might not tour as much, but I'll still play in a band and at least be like, no, we played, Portland and then Seattle, and then, that was it. Every now and again, maybe go somewhere else where, either way, I would still be doing it. I mean, it would be my recreational instead of what I'm trying to do for a living.
Well, I think even having that mindset of like, I want to do this for a living, in a way kind of helps make it come to fruition. Like if that's your goal, like.
Yeah. I mean, just keep working towards it as long as it's working out. I mean, like I said, my partner, she knows what's up. She's totally supportive and happy. And especially with the High on Fire thing, like that's not going to be just like 5 dudes fucking rolling around in a van smelling like shit. And, and then I'm going to bring my daughter and my wife along, for 3 days. I'm like, you don't even want to do that. Trust me. Yeah. You think you do, but you don't. And I like, that's, some people don't get that, where it's like, it's not like you think it is. It's a bunch of us in a van and it stinks and we pee in empty jugs of water because we can't stop, and we drive for 9 hours, and then, it's a lot of tours are rough, but with High on Fire, I think it'll be a lot different. I will actually be able to bring them on, like we have 3 days off here. You can fly in, stay with me, and then you can fly out from this place and, come to a show or whatever. But
what are they touring in? Is it like they're not
honestly, I'm not even sure yet. I've talked to them about that. Like, is this possible for me to bring Holly and Remy along? And they're like, yeah, it's totally possible. So I was like, that's cool.
Cool. What's up?
Dude, not for a long time. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, we will, buddy. I'll come find you, okay? I'm almost done. Okay? Don't worry. Love is...
But
What's up?
The one you play on Mega Man?
Yep.
The one Mega Man?
Yep.
The one Mega Man doesn't work when every time I play the new Mega Man.
Yeah, we'll fix it.
There's only one plug in there.
I'll fix it, bud. Don't worry, okay? I'll come find you.
Don't you like now there? I feel like 4 is the magical repeating age where they say the same thing 4 times before they can get the rest of it out.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
Yeah.
There's a couple just other things I wanted to ask. We were talking about touring. Oh, just for me, it's on my own personal question. Do you warm up before you play or no? Like before gigs, before shows?
I used to not. I used to never really think about it, and my warm up was like have 4 beers before I play.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've gotten older and trying to be more responsible, I do try to like whip out I try and take my drum pad with me and just like at least tap a song all the way through. So far with all the High on Fire shows, Jeff and Matt and I usually will sit in the room and, play through a song with a metronome on and just to kind of warm up and yeah, lots of stretching,
Now, will you do that? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say when you go from playing, 30 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes, like there's it's a big jump in time where it's like, oh no, I do need to like stretch out and be like limbered and warmed up,
Yeah, wow.
Because that's a long time to play.
That's so long, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's rad. And honestly, it doesn't even feel like it's that long when you're doing it. Like you get done and you're like, I feel like I could play like 4 more songs.
Wow.
But it's, it is also exhausting. Once you're done, you're like, oh shit.
Well, it's makes me think of like, be careful what you wish for, like shit, like, having to, like, it sounds sick, but even me thinking like, oh fuck, an hour and 15 minutes, like I forgot that would be a thing that you would have to do now, right? Like,
yeah, but I don't know, just like as long, you got a fan blowing on you and a towel there to dry off the sweat, you just plug away each song, and next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, it's the last song. I guess it's been an hour and 10 minutes.
Man, that's sick. So are you, like, I saw there's a tour coming up, like you'll be on that tour. Like, are you like, what's the status then? You're still filling, or are you,
yeah, it's still, nothing's official yet, but,
probation?
Yeah, I'm going to be at probation. I got to serve my 90 days or whatever. But yeah, I will be on that tour.
Okay.
We're going to be in, Montreal, I think, or,
Toronto, I saw.
Toronto and Ontario.
Well, Toronto.
I think it's
Toronto. I saw you guys are at, I think, the Danforth or something in November, right? There's a tour.
Yeah, it's like the 24th.
Something like that.
I thought. Yeah, and then we're there like the 24th and 25th.
Okay, cool. Well, people listening, like, obviously know the band and could go out and see you hit the Skins.
Yeah, I
don't know, man. I think that's kind of everything I kind of wanted to ask. Like, I know we could keep chatting, but it sounds like Little Man wants to play his Nintendo.
Yeah.
But I do a thing where I'll do. Were you ever part of the Hib Zine? Do you remember the Hib Zine? Mark basically had a zine where he'd ask friends for music suggestions.
I think I did one.
You might have
once.
Yes.
Via. I think I just sent. He like emailed me and I emailed him back.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like a band that you're currently listening to, a new band that you like, and I think I was like Carp Forever, and I can't remember, but yeah, it was something kind of like that.
Yeah, I thought you did have a hand in it, but it used to be where I would ask you for a suggestion, but I think it's more interesting for people to hear, music from the guests. But I wanted to play something off Let's Jam Again soon.
Go for it.
I wanted to play Scraps, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, cool. I'll put it in after the fact, but yeah, this is Gaytheist. This is Scraps. This is off of Let's Jam Again Soon. You can get it on Bandcamp and a label. I had it here somewhere. Good to Die.
Good to Die. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. People can. I feel like this in 2019. Just Google shit. Like, where do I find it? Like, just fucking Google it. You can find it.
If you just type it in, the Bandcamp's all there.
Yeah.
There's Instagram and Facebook and. I don't do any of the Facebook stuff anymore. I kind of stopped with that thing, but Gaytheist has all the regular medias to find, Twitter and all that stuff.
Oh, let's put that in right here. I have a question to ask after this. Let's put it right here. Whatever happened to Elitist? Like, was there any records or anything you guys did? I had the split that you did.
The with Transient.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, so we did that one on Relapse. We did a full length called Fear and a Handful of Dust on Season of Mist.
Okay,
and then
and
then we changed our name to Bastard Feast because there was this like weird kind of, I don't know if they were new metal, I don't remember what kind of music, but there was an elitist from LA that was like doing stuff, and we basically were like, we're changing our name. So we changed our name to Bastard Feast, and we put out another album on Season of Mist.
Okay. Wow, fuck, I totally missed all that. Like, I was listening to the MySpace demos.
Oh, wow, yeah. There's the Elitist, Fear and a Handful of Dust, and then Bastard Feast, Osculum and Fame.
Cool. All right, cool. Yeah, people listening, check that shit out, too. And check out El Cerdo. I had Jason on a long time ago, so some people are hip to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He told me about that.
Yeah. Man,
that was a fun band.
Man.
That was a really fun band.
You guys were so sick. It was such a sick band. And it was cool to hang, too. And you know what, man? It was cool to see you now. Like, I love that I've made some friends that I can just call and catch up, and it doesn't feel weird.
Not at all, dude. I was super stoked when you hit me up. I was like, hell yeah. I'll do a podcast. That sounds rad.
Fucking rights, man.
I was like, Steve rules.
Well, thanks. Well, listen, man, I'll post this up. I'll edit it up, and I'll try to make it out to that show, and maybe we'll have a beer and a hug, and yeah, totally,
man. Hit me up, and I will make sure that you get in. You can, maybe if you get a sitter, you can bring the wife.
Yeah, I'll just bring Tay. This is
totally.
This is my friend who's a sick drummer. Learn from him or some shit. I don't know. All right, man. Well, enjoy your day, and Nick, man, thanks for doing it, buddy.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me. Good talking to you.
No problem, man. Be safe, and I'll see you when I see you.
All right, take care, bud.
All right, peace, buddy.
Night.
Bye. All right, cool. Yeah, such a great drummer, man. Like, one of those guys that I remember being crazy intimidated by when that house show he's talking about. Just like, fuck, I don't want to. I really wanted to see them, but it's like I don't want to play with them because that means I have to play with them. But whatever, that's old Steve. Yeah, make sure you grab that Gaytheist record, all of them. They're sick, and go see High on Fire when they're coming through in November. Let me shout out all the sponsors again. We have heartbeathotsauce.com for your hot sauce, brewedbiscuits.ca, or not, twospentgrains.ca for the pet treats. Sorry, just want to make sure I have that information right. Excuse me. Yep, twospentgrains.ca. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota, 312 King Street East. Ironcladgraphics.com and wellingtonbrewery.ca. I'm trying to hold a burp in here. Thanks to everyone who entered the contest. I have the shirts. You can still buy the shirts and the merch off me. TakerWide.com. And what else? Instagram's there, TakerWide Podcast. Facebook page, if you haven't liked it, please do. And the YouTube page is there. Just click subscribe. I'm still trying to get to 100 subscribers so I can get youtube.com/TakerWide. So if you can do that, that'd be sick too. Rate and review. Tell a friend if you have a friend who's into podcasts. Always looking for new new listeners. And that's it. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you have a good week. I'll see you around this Friday. This Saturday, Grobert is going to be playing in Toronto with Hostage and Seas and Fall McCartney. It's at 3367 Dundas West in Toronto. Doors are at 8. No jerks. No weenies. Just rad people. It's going to be fun. So if you're in Toronto and want to come say hi and come check out some shit, that's where we'll be. And yeah, I'll let Tay take it from here. Okay, my bad. So it's, Tay, can you say August 31st?
August 31st.
Say it's a Saturday?
It's a Saturday, and this day is a special day for me to play some games.
Yes, and next Saturday is when Grobert plays Toronto. What do you think of that? It's cool?
And see you later, and enter the contest.
Oh yeah, they did already, but enter more contests. Okay. Okay, so can you say bye to everybody?
Bye. I hope you have a great day.
All right.
Great day. Have a safe drive. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.